OK, gents, so let's start with the Champions League. Sam, come to you then for the back page of The Sun. Not sure it's always great to read this out, but Jadon's just sensational is the headline. How good was he?
Yeah, fantastic, especially in the second half when he really seemed to go up through the gears and he was driving past players, dribbling past everyone who came near him and creating chances too. I mean, one of his passes through the legs of a PSG defender was out of this world, really. And it was the kind of performance that Man United fans would have expected to see when he joined them a few years ago, and obviously never did. But tonight, this was another chance for Sancho to show that his talent really does belong at that highest level of the game. And yeah, I'm sure for Man United fans watching it, it'll be very frustrating and confusing. But for everyone else, the neutral, and for the Borussia Dortmund fans, this was Sancho at his absolute best. And as my colleague Mike McGrath has written from Germany, he very much eclipsed Kylian Mbappe, which really is saying something. And it was a fantastic game, chances all over the place and so many opportunities missed, which actually made it even more enthralling, really. And Sancho was the star player, certainly in the second half. So for him, another great step forward and a step back to being where we all know he can be.
Yeah, you mentioned about McGrath Place, Sam, your colleague there. Let's get to Riyadh with this. Sancho eclipses Mbappe to shock PSG. We've got the picture of the Donnarumma there strewn on the ground as Füllkrug scores the goal. Riyadh, where does this leave Manchester United and Jadon Sancho? What will Ineos, Jim Ratcliffe and company think watching that?
I think the first instinct might even be a little bit of surprise. Obviously, the reasons for Sancho's exile are not purely down to performance. We all know that very well, but it hadn't been going terribly well for him there, which has kind of fed into this idea that when we got into this row between him and Ten Hag, he wasn't exactly coming at it from a position of strength. So United are going to be seeing that tonight. And I was just thinking this a few moments ago that we've finally seen a slightly positive headline for Ten Hag in the last 24 hours. That via The Athletic, they're saying he might even be the manager for them next season. Now, where does the Sancho performance come in? That if it comes down to it, they have to pick between Sancho and Ten Hag. How easy is that to fall on Ten Hag's side when you see Sancho produce a performance like that, which truly was world class? Echoing everything that Sam just said a moment ago, he's eclipsed Kylian Mbappe. He's destroyed Mendes all evening. I think I saw something about 12 successful dribbles through the match, a Champions League record for the past eight years or so. He was brilliant in every aspect of his game. His anticipation, his read of it, his dribbling was phenomenal. I mean, I dare say it's what we saw from Sancho when he played for Dortmund previously. We haven't seen anything like that at United, certainly not in a sustained pattern. So it might be sort of slightly cynically minded of me to go to the Manchester United question, but they might be watching that and thinking, yeah, you know what, we want this guy back next season. This guy's an asset. He's not someone you sell on the cheap. He's not someone you push out the door. If he's got that in his locker, and I think most of us have forgotten that he had, that's a guy you want in the squad.
Yeah, amazing. Most dribbles since Lionel Messi in a Champions League semi-final against Manchester United in 2008. The Independent are reporting tonight. Sam, how do you see Jadon Sancho in the England setup? If he lifts the Champions League, inspires Dortmund to a Champions League title, can Gareth Southgate ignore him? Could the left-hand side be a slight opening there?
Well, it's a tricky one, and we know that Gareth Southgate doesn't view the Bundesliga to be on the same level as the Premier League. He doesn't think the standard's the same, or that playing in that league reflects quite as well as playing in the Premier League. But the Champions League, on the other hand, is very different. And if Sancho is playing like this, at this level, at this stage of the competition, and potentially in a final, and as you say, potentially winning it, there will be a lot of clamour for him to get through and to get into that squad. My instinctive feeling is that it's very unlikely at this stage. Obviously, Sancho has been out of the picture now for England for some time, and even when he was in the picture and people were really calling for him to play more at the last Euros, for example, Southgate was always quite reluctant, apart from the odd game here and there. So I suspect it's almost too steep a hill for Sancho to climb and not enough time to do it. But it's quite hard to put a more compelling case together than performing a Champions League semi-final, outshining Mbappe, as we've said, and then potentially going on to win it, especially, potentially if he wins it past Harry Kane or over Harry Kane. That would be a pretty engrossing and enthralling storyline. So Southgate will be watching, I'm sure, but my gut feeling is that even with a 26-man squad, there are probably a few Premier League players and England regulars over the past few years who are still just ahead of him.
Yeah, a few brilliant stories to unfold as well, potentially. Interesting that Southgate has that opinion on the Bundesliga, isn't it? Just as an aside, because of the fact they've now got 5 Champions League places for next season ahead of the Premier League after Dortmund's result tonight, which means Dortmund are currently 5th in the Bundesliga, could benefit from that as well.